Hey everybody, Felix Staffelbaker here. I wanted to give an update on the reset and how we are really just going through it motion by motion, and basically things are replaying in ways that I never even thought would be possible, and just really showing you the patterns and the waves and the structures of the systems and how we're just going through the cycles and how we're repeating the same type of thing. So when we were in 1971, we had the Nixon shock and we had the currency, the US dollar, go off of the gold standard and stop being pegged to gold. And that basically started the entire fiat experiment as we know it today. It basically started a new currency at that time and allowed them to print exponentially and fund the war in Vietnam and things like that. And we saw in 1975 the fall of Saigon. We saw the Chinook helicopters landing on the roofs trying to rescue the U.S. embassy people and different folks there. And then just unbelievably 50 years to the day that we went off of the gold standard, in Afghanistan, we had Chinook helicopters, same helicopters, airlifting embassy personnel and people that needed to be rescued out of Afghanistan. And we always see these different types of events play out during currency resets and when reserve currencies are switching from one to the other. You know, we've talked about the Thucydides trap, where one nation is coming up and overtaking another nation, and there's always conflict, there's always wars when that happens. It's happened 17 or 19 times in history, and every time there's just crazy things that go on. And you know, all these things are repeating and showing us that we're actually walking through it, that they're markers, they're signposts, they're warnings. And you know, people are just oblivious. They think all of this is unrelated. They think none of this matters. But you could go back and look in the early 70s as well. There was groups that were occupying the White House armed with rifles and things, and protesting and causing unrest in that time. And then we fast forward to 2021 and we saw the exact same thing, where protests were taking place in the White House, and they went in the White House, and you know, they were unarmed going through protesting in 2021. But the same exact thing is going on, where you have these major unrest events take place because you're having the same thing happen, where you're switching the currency, you're changing the currency, you're actually bringing in a new economic model and system, and that drastically shakes things up. You have all this period of time where people don't want to show up at the White House and burn it down, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of threats from a lot of places that now they need to be worried about, because it's all going through the same pattern through the banks that they participate in. And you know, I just see the unlimited printing of money causing all of this problems, that if they would just not be able to print unlimited money, they wouldn't be devaluing dollars, they wouldn't be able to fund endless wars, they wouldn't be able to cause economies to crash and homelessness to increase and unemployment to go up, and you know, equality to go away and racism to happen, all because they're printing all this money. If they would just go to a gold-like standard or a Bitcoin standard, which is the way everything's going, they could solve a lot of that. The problem is there's not going to be the people who need the help the most buying Bitcoin before it happens. And so the people who are going to benefit the most are the people who had benefited before, and they're already in the new system, and then they're going to bring everybody else in the system and make a ton of money off of them. And that's the position we get to be in, luckily. But trying to explain that to somebody, they're looking at you like you have three eyes, and all this stuff is taking place on 50-year anniversaries. And when you have things that happen other countries that cause a bunch of media stir, it'll downplay those events, but they're still related. So it's like just being able to shake out the noise and bring in the signal and being able to stay focused on what's important and how we're going to be able to get through all this is more important than than trying to just virtue signal about being right about a certain thing or something. It just doesn't matter. It's all about being able to position yourself and your family to be able to prosper on the other side of this, and things like EOS are going to help, things like Bitcoin. And all the other unrest and all that stuff is going to continue until we get into a new system. So it's just important to understand that and to recognize that and just be prepared for that. So I just want to put that out there. Stoffel Baker out.